The LM Drive. LM Drive. This is the LM Radio Drive with Gavin Buckle.
Nice prime circle there and Ghost. They were formed in the coal mining town of Witbank in Mpumalanga back in December of 2001. Then the following year they were signed to David Gresham Records. They have won several awards, including the South African Music Awards for their album and music videos for Best Music Video of the Year. Then they were nominated for the MTV Africa Music Awards for Best Pop and Alternative Act and Best Music Video of the Year. I tell you what, I suggest you get your home theatre systems and smart TVs all warmed up and rearing to go, because this coming Sunday they're hosting the Prime Circle event. It is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be a kind of event that you haven't experienced since the COVID lockdown restrictions. It is the Prime Circle Music in Empty Spaces event, and we're giving away 2 tickets in a few moments to you. Perhaps if you enter, we will be giving you privileged access. The band's leader is Ross Learmonth, and he's joining me now on Zoom. Afternoon, Ross. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm great. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. It looks like you're in the country at the moment.
I am in the country, yes.
So you're avoiding the city?
Yeah, I am. I'm on a golf course.
You're on a golf course. At least you're being honest. A golf course somewhere around Gauteng or other places in the world?
Other places in the world. But I'm here with a couple of mates, and it's sort of I haven't seen in a long time due to lockdown. So one of the friends is out from the States, and we just thought we'd take a day out. So we are blessed to be out.
Fabulous. Speaking about the golf course, our boss, Lyndon Johnston, has passed me a note. He says you're an avid golfer. Is that correct?
Is avid? Does avid mean terrible?
No, I would fall
really bad.
I would fall into the category of terrible. Let's rank it. You get the rankings of Tiger Wood, who is an absolute pro, and then you get the rankings of me, who is basically a golf course bulldozer. So where do you fall into that?
I'm just before you.
So your rankings, what are you? Par plus what or par minus?
No, I'm terrible. I literally just do it because I enjoy talking rubbish on the golf course and making jokes, and I like being out. But I'm terrible at it. It's not so. But I believe that you lose your rock credibility the better you are at golf. It's like they say Alice Cooper, when he got really good at golf, his sort of rock credibility sort of took a nosedive. So, it's all those kind of things. And now he's got really bad at golf again, and he's coming up in the rock charts, in the rock credibility, I mean.
So even if you became a real pro in golfer, you wouldn't actually admit it to your friends and your fans, because that would demerit your rock status.
Yeah, it's less time in the music and more time on the golf course. You're gonna see the results.
Yeah, of course. Before we go any further, you note the T-shirt.
Yeah, bare bones, man. My solo tour. That was the first shows I ever played.
The first solo I ever played. And how was the turnout for that?
Amazing. It was very emotional, very just low key. I really enjoyed it. It was more about the stories and just an amazing trip for me. I mean, it was the first time I've ever played on my own, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's gearing up for my solo record, which will be coming out later this year. So it was sort of just getting out there and trying a new perspective.
There was a complete paradigm shift from playing with Prime Circle with a full band to massive audiences to your bare bone tour, where basically it was almost an unplugged session. It was you and Denim, and you would perform to a small, intimate audience. How was the audience reaction to you, and how was your reaction to the audience in an instance like that? Because normally you're playing on a big stage to a big audience. So did you have the same type of rapport with the audience?
I think I get more nervous for those kind of shows because people can see the whites of your eyes. You know what I mean? It's sort of they can see through what you're saying, and the songs are sort of under a different kind of microscope. And so there's a lot more sort of required from you. So that's sort of the thing that I found about those shows compared to the big animal that is the big monster that is this 10,000 people. So it's that difference is incredible. But weirdly enough, the smaller shows are more nerve-wracking.
And are you going to go back to doing some of the smaller shows?
Definitely, yeah. I'll be doing some stuff now. just because basically as well, like we're not allowed to do anything bigger at the moment, but the band will be doing some small stuff as well as I will be, and just sort of getting down to the crux of what the songs are about, which in a way, like I prefer those shows in terms of a fan. If I go and watch stuff, it's always nice to be able to get that close and personal.
Now, speaking about the size of the shows, you guys have performed in some massive shows as well, and you've performed with some of the biggest international acts, acts like Queen, Annie Lennox, Will Smith, Metallica, Collective Soul, Iron Maiden, Peter Gabriel, and that is literally just mentioning a few out of the very long list of acts that you've performed with. How did performing to local audiences to performing with international acts and international audiences compare?
I think you pick up differences. I think that sometimes South African audiences they're a bit more talkative, where I find in Europe they are like you can drop a pin. So if someone's doing a ballad or something really like a soft like emotive song, you'll be able to hear a pin drop in like a German audience. And then when we move slow towards Amsterdam, we start picking up more South African fans, and you can hear they're a little bit more louder and rowdy. So you can pick it up in the crowds. But I think South African crowds, when it comes to big events, though, have shown some of these international bands some of the biggest love and some of the best energy. I've seen the shock in some of these international artists' faces, and like live, especially. Like I think that's why they just keep coming back. It's incredible to play South African audiences.
Now, the COVID pandemic has totally annihilated the events industry, and I'm quite sure that you, as well as Prime Circle, heavily relied on the industry to become one with your audience. How have you guys managed to cope during the restrictions?
It was devastating. We lost a European tour. There was some beautiful shows that were going to be done. It was our 20-year anniversary. So it was sort of like a year to really sort of celebrate the band. So we're going to have to do a big 21st, which is fine, which is great anyway. But I think, it was really, really difficult. Dale built a studio, and I sort of just stayed at home, wrote music, and took the time to really just sort of get into not being in a band. And it took that time to break, for the break. But it took me about 4 months, and then I was dying to get back on the road. But we've done a couple of streaming shows and learned from that and seen how it goes and tried to make ends meet, and which leads us up to Music in Empty Spaces, which will be premiering on the weekend. So just trying to keep ourselves busy and trying to keep our heads above water. Keep the lights on.
I think the dream of any artist is to sign with a record label. However, often that is a problem because that means you're committed for a certain amount of albums within a specific time period. Do you think that this COVID period where you haven't been able to release specific albums and go live and spend a lot of your time touring and what have you, you've become a little bit more creative when it comes to writing music?
Yes and no. I think it wasn't much of a creative time. Like I think there was a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear in the air, especially in the beginning. So it was very difficult to be creative at that time, which again was nice to be closer to family and to take that time and just be closer with each other, But I think at the end now, it's definitely spurned on that more creative stuff and that sort of that kind of rebellious fighting back phase. Now that we will not go down with this pandemic, and we'll keep on trying, and we will do shows, and we'll be creative and play shows in a different way, evolve with the times.
Speaking about evolving and playing shows to not necessarily live audiences, but audiences that are around the world streaming, your Music in Empty Spaces event, who came up with that idea?
One of the creative directors we work with, he said, "Man, I can get the Dome. The guys are keen." And we were like, wow, that's such a prolific venue for us, because that's where we opened up for live, and the next day we were a known band. Definitely that was one of the most prolific venues for us, one of the big memory venues. So when he said he got that and he said we could set up in there, we jumped at the opportunity. And I know it seems kind of mad as well, like to play the Dome. We've had Casper Nyovest fill the Dome. Now Prime Circle empties the Dome. But I think it's more of like the whole thing of that sort of resilience and rebellion against sort of not being able to play, and playing somewhere where it's really a beautiful venue and it's got a lot of memories. And so we decided to do it, and just had a great time the show is incredible, and it's one of the best things that we've done.
If you normally go to the Dome for a live performance, it is a massive venue, but it fills up very quickly with an audience as well as the technicals. In other words, the stage and the sound and the lighting and what have you. How is this one completely different? Because in theory, you don't have a live audience and you don't necessarily need a massive stage. And obviously, you don't need a big live PA system. You just need a PA system for the band and for the streaming and what have you. How is it different this time?
Well, we brought in a lot of production for this because, I mean, as well as musicians have been out of work, so have our band members behind the scenes and the people that we rely on so much. So it was good to see them back, and I think they've taken it, if not harder than anyone else. So to get that production back was great. So we brought in a lot of production in this show. We know the crowds are there, but we just can't see them. So it is very, very difficult to interact with. Sort of, you could almost call it even a green screen that you know that the people are watching you. But very, very tricky. But in the end, it's you just got to give it your all and hope that you're getting that message across.
The music in Empty Spaces is just going to be a stream of the event, or are you also going to include some of Prime Circle's highlights?
It's going to be a stream of the event itself. In the halls, we've used drones and we've used a beautiful lighting and pyro and everything like that. So that's a great thing. So it's just a stream of this event. But then we're online all the time for people to be sort of speaking to us, and on the event we'll be on our social media, so people can be asking us questions and seeing how it was.
So if a person wants to stream the event, how can you do that?
You can go to Ticket Pro. You can pick it to Ticket Pro Dome. It's a CompuTicket. You can get the tickets at CompuTicket or Kling.
Or spell that?
CLEENG. Those two tickets. But go to CompuTicket and you can get your tickets there for 250 Rand per family. You can just throw a bunch of mates together that you have been seeing. Be safe, obviously. But you can bring it together for a bunch of people and you get this magnificent show.
And if a person goes to your website, will your website redirect people to go and buy tickets at CompuTicket?
Yes, you can go through there. If you have any problems, just let us know.
Okay, finally, I believe we're giving away 2 tickets for 2 streaming people. So it's up to you. You come up with a question that might be difficult, but might be easy. It's up to you.
I'd say what day is the actual event? Let us know.
There you go. It's as simple as that. So there you go. Thank you very much, Ross. Enjoy your time on the golf course, and hopefully we'll be chatting during your live event.
Thank you so much. We'll be chatting then.
And before we go away, I believe that one of your favorite songs is Innocence. Tell me, why is it so special to you?
I just love the fact that where it sits in my register of singing and how the song makes me feel. And it was a great time writing it in studio. It just sort of came out of thin air. The song wrote itself with me, and I really enjoyed it. And I just love the way people react when we play it live.
There you go. Thank you very much, Ross. Together with Prime Circle this Sunday, it is going to be music in Empty Spaces live at the Dome. Get your tickets now at CompuTicket. Here we go, Prime Circle, and this is Innocence.
Run away. The LM Drive. LM Drive. Baby, you can drive my car. This is the LM Radio Drive with Gavin Buckle.